After what happened on Thursday night, Bordy said we lost the plot a bit, zero positives, we were everywhere and also nowhere. Can you put your finger on why it was such a substandard performance? I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Atalanta. I think the way they came over to Liverpool and went about them man for man all over the pitch, matched them, had runners running off them, and it's something that Liverpool are not used to. You think a lot of the teams in the Premier League will sit in and allow Liverpool to have the ball and then try and hit on the counter. It wasn't the same. Atalanta had a go at them. You look at Liverpool, and I know we're nearly at the end of the season, but you still think to yourself, does Jurgen Klopp know his strongest team? And that's not doubt to heart. There's been injuries, yes, but some people have had 5-6 good weeks where they've been excellent, and you're like, right, he's in my team, and then all of a sudden he drops off and somebody else comes in. Yeah, you could say it's the strength of the squad, I get that, but when you go back to Liverpool with them on fire and all cylinders, you knew they were 11, you knew what team was going out there on the pitch, and they were going to get results. As Joe said, as Sarah said, it's been a bad week for them, but they'll respond, they'll get the 3 points today. And is the worry, Sue, that when you look at City, they appear to be growing in strength at home to Luton today. Arsenal will come on to talk about them. They appear to be growing in strength. Is there an argument, or is it too much to read into it off the back of one awful game midweek, that they might be fading just a little? Yeah, I wouldn't read into that too much. I think it's been a disappointing week for them. I think they'll look at the Manchester United game, and in particular in that first half, the way that they just cut through. Manchester United created so many opportunities, they just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. It was the Kwanzaa mistake, brilliant bit of magic from Bruno Fernandes that got Manchester United back into the game. So of course they'll be disappointed. They'll look at that as 2 points dropped. I think the performance against Atlanta was just very uncharacteristic, just not like Liverpool at all. They were outfought, they were outdone tactically. Yes, Atlanta, I think you've got to praise them and say they performed really well and stopped Liverpool and were a real threat going forward. But that's just something I think they'll reflect on because we're probably back where we are. You know, Arsenal and Manchester City drew the week previous, Liverpool won. And we were all saying, oh, Liverpool have got the advantage now. Now it's just back to, okay, Liverpool have drew and both Manchester City and Arsenal have won. So I just think it's still so difficult to call. But it is so important that they respond now against Crystal Palace, which I think they will. I think if you go back to that Manchester United game, everybody at halftime's just saying Liverpool's been brilliant. They've blown them away. It's very difficult to see Man United getting back. And then all of a sudden it changes with that mistake. But you can't go from, everybody saying they were excellent, and then inside 15, 20 minutes later, the whole thing's changed. They've had a bad week, as we've spoken about there, but they will respond. Just one more on Liverpool before we move over to the champions' doors. From a defensive point of view, Thursday night, look at Skamaka's second goal. He had the freedom of Anfield. How big a concern is that in terms of the number of chances that other teams like United a week ago are having against them? Yeah, he was a huge concern, and I was watching the game and I saw the goals that they were giving him away and the opportunities. You can talk about the other end of the field where you're thinking they should be taking chances, but I've always looked and thought that's a place that they've improved on. They've looked far from it. The mistake last week, it can happen. One slight pass, Bruno then puts the ball in the back of the net. But your mindset at this time in the season is concentration. Can we get over the line? Scrutiny, one mistake can cost you. But that defending in midweek, it blew my mind. It really did. The guys everyone's touched on it there. Give credit to Atalanta. But you as a unit, a defensive unit, you can't lose your structure, you can't lose your shape. And they were all over the place. Skamaka's second goal, it's something you'd see in Sunday League. There's no one even near him. What do you do when you're defending? You're marked. Where's your player? It was a surprise for me. It was a slight blip. But I also look at the games where they've got over the lines. You look at Sheffield United. I sat in here last week, Joe, said they were very fortunate to win that game. And it's that other end of the field where you go, how do we break teams down? How do we keep our composure in front of goal? And we're not seeing that from Liverpool at this moment in time. What did you say? 87 chances, Merce? 87 shots in 3 fixtures. That's ridiculous because them strikers, and we've talked about Nunez being rash in front of goal, you have to be calm. That's why they get paid all the money. Your best players have to be calm in front of goal and take these chances because defensively you make one blip, which Kwanzaa did last week, and you get punished. But they should have been out of sight against Manchester United and with Boydie. I see them beating Crystal Palace tomorrow quite comfortably. However, I could be wrong because in recent weeks, Liverpool haven't been good enough. They're doing just enough, but they got caught on Thursday. You mentioned Jota. He returned to training this week, so not far away from a return. Will he feature in the matchday squad tomorrow? We will find out. It is on Super Sunday. Let's turn things over now to the champions. They go first, as I mentioned, this weekend. They're at home to Luton Town later today. We'll talk about Luton and that relegation fight a little bit later. But I called them thoroughbreds at the start. They know this particular bit of the course, the run-in, better than any team in the Premier League right now. Where do you see Manchester City right now in terms of form and potential hurdles along the way in terms of pitfalls? It's so different now. This last 7 games is so different. You've seen it in the Championship. You've seen Leicester, you've seen Leeds, you've seen Ipswich, the way you drop points. It's different now. It's different now. It's different. Every game is a hard game. Even today, Luton at home, they're going to have one eye on Real Madrid. There's no question about that. You end up starting this game slowly. The clock starts ticking down very quickly. It's weird how it works towards the end of the season. It's just how they manage it. I still think it's going to be Arsenal and Liverpool. Do you? It's in their hands. It's out of Man City's hands. Arsenal and Liverpool go perfect from now to the end of the season. Man City can't do anything about it. It's still out of their hands. Until it's in their hands, for me, they've got to keep on going and going. I still think it's Arsenal and Liverpool. Let's have a look at the top 3 remaining fixtures as we do every week. You look at top 6 sides that the 3 teams are going to be facing. Here he comes. There it is. For Arsenal, they've got Aston Villa tomorrow. They've got Tottenham away as well. They've got Manchester United away on the penultimate game of the season. For Liverpool, they've still got Tottenham and Aston Villa to face. 1 at home, 1 away. For Man City, Nolan, in terms of top 6 sides, it's Tottenham away on that penultimate game of the season. If you're looking at run-ins, you want to be in Pep Guardiola's shoes right now, don't you? You do. But even if they win all 6, if one or the other 2 go perfect, they haven't won the league. There's not a lot of games left. They're telling me Liverpool are going to win tomorrow. If they win tomorrow, I expect them to beat Fulham. I expect them to beat Everton. I know Everton will be our game. I expect them to go and beat West Ham. I expect them to beat Tottenham. Tottenham will have a big scene. Then you're talking there's 2 football matches to go. Forget the other 4 then. It's 2 football matches. I still think Liverpool or Arsenal, I think one of them 2 will go. I still think there's a lot to play for. Man City have got the fixtures, but I wouldn't want to be Man City. I wouldn't because I can win every game and still not win the league, let's be honest. Arsenal come back from their winter break and won 9 out of 10. They can do it. They've got Chelsea at home. I know Chelsea are a bag of rebels. You don't know what you're going to get. We haven't heard the rebels for a while. I'm quite confident with Arsenal in the Tottenham game. I think it will be an end-to-end football match. I just think Arsenal are stronger in midfield. I think they win that game. The way Man United are, you see them against Liverpool. Klopp said Arsenal will beat these if they play like that. If Everton are safe, without being horrible, it's an absolute give me. I think when you look at Arsenal this year, they're a totally different team. They've scored the most goals, conceded the less goals in the league. They are a totally different team from where they were last season. They're stronger all over the pitch. The stats point to that. I look at the Tottenham games. Liverpool is the only one that's got a Tottenham at home. Yes, they've got a hard game against Aston Villa. But you look at Liverpool, the other 2 are still in the Champions League as well. You can see it doesn't have it. But if Arsenal have to find a way to get past Bayern Munich, if Manchester City have to find a way to get past, then all of a sudden that's midweek games for them. I know they've got a squad for it. But you then think, semi-finals of the Champions League. What a chance of winning the Champions League. The Premier League is still there. It's going to be difficult to ask for Liverpool to overturn their game. But you look at Liverpool. Yes, they've had a bad week. But they've got players that can win games of football.